Hi, I'm Nicola, and thank you for showing interest in Castaway Cruise and Resort Hiring Agency's upcoming interviews.
Starboard Cruise Services is a concessionary. They run the gift shops on lots of big-name cruise ships. Big names like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Line, Celebrity, and plenty of others. This means you could be working on any one of these ships pretty much anywhere in the world. It would be a 6-month contract at sea they would be asking you to commit to. So that is 6 months of you living on board that ship, living in a very small cabin, and sharing this with one other person of the same gender. These cabins are small. I'm talking bunk beds, a little bit of cupboard and drawer space. There is a bathroom for the two of you, so you're not lining up down hallways. You have a housekeeper that comes in and cleans up after you several times a week, which is very nice, but it's still not luxurious. There is that lack of privacy, and I'm not just talking with your roommate, I'm talking about everyone else who lives in the same hallway with you. Step outside the door and there's everyone who knows who you are, what you're doing, who you're doing it with, and they're not afraid to talk about it. But ship life is a lot of fun. You do get to meet people from all around the world. There's always crew events and activities going on, and you're what's called a staff member on board the ship. That means that you do have access to the guest areas. You can go see the shows, use some of the facilities, and one of the best parts of this role is that when the ship does come into port, the gift shops are actually not allowed to be open. This does mean you will get a bulk of that port time to be able to get off the ship and go out and be a tourist yourself. There may be some times that you can't get off the ship. There could be a stock take, a team meeting, a safety duty, but that's about 10 to 15% of the time. The other 85 to 90% of the time, you do have that ability to go out there and be a tourist. You will see all the places your ship is visiting. Sometimes, multiple times. Often ships will come back to the same port over and again, and it is going to get to the point where you'll be like, really? Jamaica? Again? I'm sleeping in today. But believe me, none of your friends back home are going to feel sorry for you when you're sick of Jamaica, so don't even try. Now, unfortunately, working on a cruise ship isn't just all port time off and meeting great people. You do work, and you do work hard. You do, in fact, work 7 days a week. There is no such thing as a full day off. Yes, when the ship is in port, the shops are closed, so you might have that time off, but as soon as that ship starts sailing again, you will start working. Often ships come into port throughout the day, leave early evening. This means you may start work at around 6 o'clock at night, work through till 10 or 11, so 4 or 5 hours for the day. No problem. However, the next day, the ship might be at sea all day long. This means you are working all day long, with breaks in between for lunch and dinner, and that's about it. So yes, there are going to be days you're working that 10th, 11th hour for the day thinking, this is crazy, I don't get paid enough for this. Then the next day you're lying on the beach with a pina colada in your hand thinking, this is crazy, I'm getting paid for this. There are several different types of stores on board. It kind of looks like the duty-free of an airport. You will have your duty-free liquor and tobacco, your makeups and perfumes, where they do makeup applications and makeovers. You will have your logo stores. That's the store that has the name of your cruise ship plastered across everything. T-shirts, hats, postcards, pens, you name it. There's going to be specialty stores on board. In fact, Starboard's done quite a bit of rebranding recently, and you will find on board they have Coach stores, Tiffany stores, Bulgari, Guess. In fact, Starboard is a Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy company, so it is a luxury brand company. There's always going to be jewelry stores on board. This is everything from your $10 Swatch watches to your $10,000 Rolexes, precious gems, costume jewelry, and then there's going to be specialty items depending where in the world you are. If you're in the Baltic Sea, you'll have Russian nesting dolls and Fabergé eggs. Sailing around Australia, you'll have didgeridoos and boomerangs, stuffed kangaroos and koalas. There's a little bit of something for everyone on board, which means there's a little bit of something for every one of the staff members. You're not going to get bored on board. It's not your average retail where you see a guest once, sell them something, and never see them again. You create a real relationship with these guests. You see them over the entirety of the cruise, and you are selling them a memory. Sure, it might just be a hat with the name Carnival Conquest written on it, but to them it's a memory of their cruise, and part of that memory is your customer service. This is going to be what Starboard is looking for at these interviews. Someone who has an innate ability to show amazing customer service, positive attitudes, a bright and bubbly personality, and of course someone who loves being around people 24/7. Now, when it comes to the pay structure, it is US dollars, it is tax-free and completely living expense-free. You're not paying for food, you're not paying for accommodation, you don't have a car, so you're not pumping that full of petrol, you don't need to bring a mobile phone with you, and you are covered completely medically, so you do not need your own health insurance. The only thing you're going to spend any of your money on is yourself. When you get off the ship, you might buy lunch or a souvenir. If you want to go to the crew bar at the end of the night and grab yourself a glass of wine, that will set you back $1.50. A Heineken, $1. I don't recommend spending your entire wage in the crew bar. You'll probably be very sick and probably very fired. The pay structure is base wage plus commission. Now the base wage is at $500 US for the month. Barely worth talking about, but it's there. The bulk of your money is coming in from commissions, and they're going to vary as all commissions do. Some of the main variables are going to be how well your team works together. It is team commission. They do this for several reasons. The first one is you could be selling 50-cent postcards and your roommate selling a $500 Coach bag. How is that fair? But the other reason is that you all live and work with each other. There's nothing worse than the bad blood of snaking out commissions from underneath each other. We'd hate for your roommate to put their pillow over your face in the middle of the night because you got a commission that they were after. So, to avoid murder, it is team commission. Another variable is going to be where in the world you are. There's currently ships in Asian waters exceeding sales targets by 100%. It's no secret that Asian guests love to shop. But the biggest variable is going to be what your itinerary looks like when it comes to days in port versus days at sea. Again, when the ship is in port, the shops are closed. Great for you, time off, but you're not making any commissions at that time. The bigger variable is going to be how long your cruises are. If you're doing 3 and 4 day cruises, it's going to be crazy busy. It's going to be like Boxing Day every day. The guests are going to be rushing into those stores. They have a very limited time. If you're doing 30-day cruises, it's going to be a little quieter because how often do these guests need to come in over 30 days? However, if you're doing 30-day cruises, pretty much means you're going to be doing round-the-world cruises, so I don't get too many complaints. That being said, it is impossible to say exactly what you're going to be earning, but I do have to warn you, it is looking at around the $1,400 to $1,500 US per month mark that people are generally bringing in. Now, this is just a generalization. It can go much higher than that, and we could dazzle you with those numbers. But if you're not on one of those higher earning ships, you're going to be pretty upset. If we give you those lower numbers, you have lower expectations, and anything you earn over that, you're going to be happy with. No, it's not the highest wage you're ever going to see in the world, but it is all 100% savings. When you're not paying rent, when you're not paying for a car or any food or anything at all, it is a great way to save a nice chunk of change and come home at the end of 6 months having seen some great places and not have spent all of your life savings. This is also the entry-level wage. There is plenty of room for movement on cruise ships, and it can happen quite quickly because it is a transient lifestyle. There's always new people coming on board, existing crew members moving up into more senior roles, and with that, moving into management, etc., you do receive commissions from the team as well as your individual commissions. There's also different spiffs and bonuses in some of the higher-end areas like the high-end jewelry. So there's a lot of different ways to be earning more money than this base wage after a short amount of time working on board.
I do hope you're interested in discussing these positions and the interviews with me further. Please follow the instructions as set out in the email so we can have this talk and I can answer any other questions you may have.